Hey guys, it is Mark from the Sports Corner and it is a new week in the NFL. So you know what that means. I'm going to give you guys all my predictions and all my best bets. Just a quick review of week 9. Didn't do so hot. My best bets didn't do so great. But I was on a real heater before that. I was 11 wins and 2 losses for my best bets. And, I didn't expect to be that hot for that long. So I took a bit of a beating for week 9. But for the whole week, all the games I predicted for week 9, I was above 500. So that means in the last 5 weeks, every week I predicted, every game I went over, I'm above 500 for each of those weeks. So I'm still doing pretty good predicting games for each week. Just didn't do so good on my best bets last week. But this week, I like my best bets way more than I did last week. So some really good games here. I like them a lot. Just to let you guys know, I did create a TikTok and a YouTube short taking the Bengals +6. Thought that was easy money, so that came in through for us. All that being said, let's now go through all the games for week 10 and my best bets I'll give you guys at the end. So let's get to it. And for this matchup, we have to go all the way to Germany. It is the New York Giants versus the Carolina Panthers, with the Giants being favored by 6.5 and the over-under being 40.5. So just let you guys know right away, when I saw this at 4.5, I took the Giants at 4.5. It opened Giants being favored by 4.5, and I took it, jumped on it. I loved it at that number, but a lot of people took it. I'm guessing a lot of the sharp money were taking the Giants at 4.5. Now it's at 6.5. So let's go through it and see if it's actually worth 6.5 points. This is basically the worst offense versus the worst defense. The Giants have one of the worst offenses, and the Panthers have, I think, the absolute worst defense in the league. But the Panthers, they did win straight up against the Saints. I had the Saints plus the 7 points. Great decision, because the Saints look terrible. They're nothing. The Saints should pack it in. Time to go. Try to get that first round pick, because you guys are going nowhere. So they covered for us, the Carolina Panthers. Bryce Young had a decent game. Back-to-back decent games. He had 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Still not terrible. He's looking way better than he looked in the beginning of the year. So these are encouraging signs for the future of the Carolina Panthers. He doesn't look like the first round. He doesn't look like the first round pick that he was, but it's still better than he was in the beginning of the season. Adam Thielen, the wide receiver, is questionable for this game. And Brooks, the guy they drafted in the second round, I believe out of Texas, I believe he practiced and he's active for this game, the first game he's going to play. So that might be great. If you're a Panthers fan and if you're a Panthers team and you don't really trust Bryce Young, you can rely on a good running back system with Chuba Hubbard, who's really great. And then you could hit Miles Sanders and this rookie, Brooks, and you could make a good 3-headed running back team here, or an offensive scheme, if you will. So this might be encouraging for Panther fans here to finally see their boy, the running back, play. Bad thing is Panthers are allowing 32 points a game. That's the highest in the league. So, their defense is just ass. Let's get to the Giants now. They're coming off a loss to the Commanders, but, they put up a good fight. They have a good young core. They have Tracy, the running back from I think was a converted wide receiver. They have Neighbors, and they also have Robinson and Shepard. So it's not a bad core, not a bad weapons for Daniel Jones, and they got a decent offensive line. The only thing is they have Daniel Jones at quarterback. I mean, he finally threw a touchdown at MetLife when he's playing at home. So it looks like he's turning it around a bit, but he's still not doing great. He has 8 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. That's not really what you want. That's not what you really want from a guy you just extended a contract for tens and tens of millions of dollars. So, so like I was saying, even with the weapons they have, this young, good core, Daniel Jones is still the quarterback, and he can't really get the ball to them. The Giants' front 7 is really good. Lawrence, their defensive tackle, he has like 7 or 8 sacks, so that's something they could really rely on. Their front 7 is really good. They could get off the quarterback, but their second is trash. So it's awful. So if Bryce Young could have a better game than he had the previous 2 games, this would be the game because you could pass on the Giants. Giants are 1-4 in the last 5 games, and the Panthers are 1-5 against the spread in their last 6 games. So it's crap on crap. I'm still going to take the Giants covering the 6.5. I jumped on them at 4.5 because I thought that was a great number to get them at. But I think Daniel Jones, he plays better against this terrible defense out of the Carolina Panthers, and he plays better on the road than he's played at home. So that's also another great thing. The Tracy, I think he has a big game. So I like Tracy for an anytime touchdown, the running back for the Giants. And I just think it's going to be a great game. But I just don't think the Panthers can pit 2 back-to-back wins here. I just don't see it. And I already took the Giants covering the 4.5. So give me the Giants covering the 6.5 now as well. And for this matchup, we're going to boring Indiana. That is the Bills versus the Colts. Bills being favored by 4 points and the over-under being 47.5. Bills are coming off a win against the Miami Dolphins. They needed a game-winning field goal, 61-yard field goal to win that game. I had Dolphins plus 6 points. So it was a good win for me. But the Bills won, so a win's a win. But in that win, they did get beat up. Their starting defensive end, he went on injured reserve. Amari Cooper is questionable for the Colts game with a wrist injury. And the other starting wide receiver, the rookie, Coleman, he's also questionable for this game. So he's beat up as well, so you pay attention to that. Bills are having a hard time stopping the run. Their secondary is really great, so they're playing a Colts team. I'm just mentioning that because Jonathan Taylor is one of the top 10 running backs in the league, so that might come in effect here. So they're good secondary, but bad at covering the run, stopping the run, that is. They get Von Miller back this game with help, especially since they lost their starting DN. Actually, he played last week as well, so he's playing again this week, but he'll have more responsibility since they lost their DN. So Von Miller will help. He's going to get more playing time, so that's another thing to keep in mind. The Colts, I'm pretty sure everybody thought that the Colts would have put up a better fight against the Vikings, especially since Joe Flacco was starting. But they looked terrible against the Vikings. Joe Flacco had, I believe, 2 or 3 interceptions, no less than 2 interceptions for sure. And you could throw on the Vikings, and they didn't look good. I think they only put 13, 14 points up against the Vikings. So not a good showing by Joe Flacco. I should know. I had the over in that game as my best bet. I thought 2 teams would have scored on each other. Michael Pittman is out for this game. So one of their best wide receivers. I don't know if the guy's one of the best wide receivers anymore. He's having a terrible year. I think he's only supposed to get only 600 yards receiving this year, when last year he had over 1,000 yards receiving and over 100 receptions. Now this year he's doing terrible, but he's out this game. So they're going to need more, they're going to need Downs and Antonio Pierce. Pierce, the other wide receiver, they're going to need them to step it up for this game. And, the Colts will be out with their starting center and other injury. And their starting offensive tackle is questionable with a concussion. So keep an eye out. Another beat up. These teams are just beat up, as you can see. The Bills have covered the spread of their last 3 games, and they're 5-4 against the spread in general. And the Colts have won 4 of their last 5 games against AFC East teams. So with all that being said, the Buffalo Bills, they squeaked out a winner against the Miami Dolphins. The Colts are not looking so great, especially since they barely put up a fight against the Vikings. And both these teams have injury problems. Both these teams are a bit beat up going into this game. So with that being said, I think the under is the best play here. I just think one of these teams are going to win 24-20 or 27-20. I think it's going to be around that range. But I think that's the best bet here with all the injuries. Bills having a good secondary. And Colts are not too shabby in the run, so stopping the run, that is. So I think it's gonna be a mixed bag, but I don't see this a high scoring game. I just can't see it whatsoever. So give me the under 47.5 in the Bills and Colts game. And for our next matchup here, Denver versus Kansas City. Kansas City being favored by 7.5 points and the over and under being 42. Denver coming off a blowout loss to the Ravens. Ravens took belt to ass to the Broncos. It wasn't even fair. I think I turned the game off at the third quarter. It was just unbelievable. The Broncos are finally coming down to earth. People are overhyping them. Sean Payton, this guy's going to do this and that. No, the Denver have a terrible offense. They have a good defense, a very good defense, but no, the Broncos just got smashed by the Ravens. Like I said, they're coming back to earth. They have no running game whatsoever. They have one guy on wide receiver, Sutton. That's it. That's the only weapon in the whole offense. The only teams they have beaten are bums. Go look at the teams that the Broncos have beaten. They have beaten nobody. So, they're good. They have 5 wins, but they're against 5 wins, some of the worst teams in the NFL. Like I said, their defense has to play shut down, no causing havoc defense for them to have a chance to win. Another thing you want to keep an eye on for this game is that the Broncos, they haven't won an Arrowhead in 2015. So keep an eye on that. So, they're they got their butts kicked. Morale is down, and now they have to go play in Kansas City against one of the best quarterbacks in the league, the best quarterback in the league, and the best head coach. Doesn't sound too great, does it? Let's talk about Kansas City. They're coming off a tough win against the Buccaneers. That was a really great game actually to watch. Patrick Mahomes' ankle is beat up though, so keep an eye on that. He hurt that ankle during that game. He came back in the game and finished it for them. So really, I guess it wasn't too terrible, but if he could get to his ankle, which the Broncos could possibly can because they have a good defense, if they get to it, I'd watch out on that. Mahomes is now looking like he has a better rapport with the Hopkins. Hopkins had about 80 yards receiving, and he had 1 or 2 touchdowns. He had 1 touchdown for sure, but he looks better playing with the Kansas City Chiefs in that game, so it looks really great. The report, Travis Kelce looks better too. Looks like he's getting his feet underneath him. He had, I believe, 14 receptions in that game, so really good game by Kelce. The Chiefs are 10 wins, 3 losses, and 1 tie against the spread in their last 14 games. So just keep that in mind as well. And like I said, the spread opened at 9.5 points. Keep that in mind. The spread for this game opened at 9.5. And I'm pretty sure all the sharps all took the Broncos at 9.5. And now it's at 7.5. So with all that being said, the Chiefs were favored by 9.5 when this line opened, and now it's at 7.5 because a lot of people were taking Denver plus 9.5, 8.5, and all that. But I don't know how people could confidently take the Broncos plus that number and be confident with it because they have no offense. I don't care what anybody says. They have no offense, and they play against good teams. They suck ass. Okay. And the Chiefs are not the best covering teams. I know they're not. But I don't know how anybody could take the Broncos confidently saying yep, they're going to win this game. So, the Broncos, I understand why people took the Broncos plus the points. Chiefs, they came off a tough win, overtime win against the Buccaneers. And Mahomes re-aggravated his ankle, and his ankle looks like it's in kind of bad shape. So I understand that. And a lot of suckers might think that they're taking they're going to take the Ravens because the Ravens blew out the Broncos, that this is a good time to take the Chiefs to blow them out too. 9.5 is more reasonable, but 7.5 just thinks to me, I think Kansas City could cover that number. But overall, I am not going to take this game. I'm going to take the under 42. I think that's the best play. I think you're kind of nuts to take the Denver Broncos plus 9.5 after they just got dismantled by the Ravens. And I know Kansas City, especially Patrick Mahomes, doesn't have a good record against the spread when he's a favorite by a big number. So with all that being said, I think the best number is 42. I think this could be an easy 24-14 game or 24-17 game, something like that. But other than that, give me the under in this game, which should be actually a pretty competitive game, but I'm not trusting Denver. I'm not trusting Kansas City, so give me that under. and I really like this matchup. We have the Steelers versus the Commanders. Washington being favored by 3 points and the over and under being 45. This is going to be a great matchup. It could be the best game of the week. And I've been, since the season has started and we're on past the mid-season, I was really looking forward to this game. So let's get right to it. The Steelers are coming off a bye. During the bye, the Steelers acquired Mike Williams, a wide receiver from the Jets, previously on the Chargers before that. And they required Preston Smith, a defensive end linebacker from the Packers. So they added some minor to, decent weapons to the both offense and defense. Good move, good decision. Pittsburgh Steelers know they got to keep up with the Ravens, and they got a good shot making the playoffs. They're probably going to make the playoffs, but they have a good shot winning the division too. So smart move by the Steelers to make those trades. Russell Wilson, since he started, they're averaging over 30 points a game, and Wilson has thrown 271 yards, averaging 271 yards a game too. That's pretty good, with 3 touchdowns and no interceptions. The Steelers are allowing the 9th fewest yards per game, and their 2nd fewest points allowed. So the Steelers defense is just always being the Steelers defense, really great. They're really great against the run. That's you need that because the Commanders are top 5 or the number 1 rushing team in the league. They're that damn good. I forget what it is, but they're really great. Mike Tomlin is 61 wins and 35 losses and 4 ties against the spread as an underdog. That is a tremendous record. Tremendous. Russell Wilson is 40 wins, 23 losses, and 2 ties against the spread as an underdog as well. So these guys love being underdogs, obviously, when it comes to the spread. Let's talk about the Commanders. Coming off a divisional win against the Giants, I believe it was 23-27, give or take. They're rolling. They're right now ahead of the Eagles in the NFC East. Washington's allowing the 5th fewest passing yards. That's good because they're playing against the Steelers, and Russell Wilson is slinging the ball. They also made a trade for Lattimore, a really good corner, but he is questionable for this game, so keep an eye on that. I don't think he's going to play this game, but he comes from the Saints. But if he does play, he's their best corner right away. He's their best defensive guy back there because their secondary was awful. They have won 4 out of the 5 games, averaging 28.4 points in those games. So in the last 5 games, they're putting damn near 30 points a game. Really good to see if your Commanders better. And this will be the toughest, I believe, game the Commanders are, the toughest defense they're going to play. They did lose to the Ravens, but Ravens is offense to top of offense. Their secondary is maybe the worst, the Ravens. But now they're playing against a Pittsburgh defense. I don't need to tell you guys. They stopped the run. They could sack the quarterback with Watt, and now Preston Smith is playing. They got Hayward, the defensive tackle. They got Fitzpatrick. They got weapons everywhere, so they can't get after the quarterback. So all that being said, give me the underdog king, Mike Tomlin. I think a lot of people are going to jump on the Commanders here because of all the hype a little bit, but they forget that Mike Tomlin, the guy likes covering spreads and he loves playing as an underdog. And I like this number 3. If you can get 3.5, take that hook. But right now, easily, I like that. I like this a lot. Give me Steelers plus the 3 points. All right, and in this game, we have the Vikings versus Jaguars. Vikings being favored by 7 points, and the over/under being 44. Vikings coming off a good win against the Colts. Colts are a very good team that can cover the spread. They keep them to 13, 14 points. Really good win. They needed it because they're on a 2-game losing streak. The Cam Robinson, the left tackle they traded for, he didn't need too much time to get in there and help protect. He allowed 0 sacks on 34 dropbacks. That is pretty good for a left tackle joining a new team and a new system. So hey, that may pay dividends for them because they lost their left tackle for the year and they need to go get somebody. They get Cam Robinson and he's putting up a good game, first game. So hey, not too bad. Nice trade by the Vikings. The offense is finally back together. It's finally one core. Addison was hurt. Hawkinson was hurt. Now these guys are back and healthy. So you got Justin Jefferson, the best wide receiver in one. You got Addison in the second, and then now you have Hawkinson and Jones at running back. So this is just a really great offense. I also want to point out that if nobody saw that the big news here is that Trevor Lawrence is unlikely to play this game. Now they do have Mac Jones, who was a starter for a year or two with the Patriots. It looked not too great, but I guess it's not too bad. You have a backup. Your backup quarterback was actual starter at one point, so it's not that bad. So and the Jaguars, they're coming off a close loss to the Eagles. It shouldn't have been that close, to be honest with you. The Jaguars got a bullshit fumble they brought back for a touchdown that shouldn't have been a fumble. I don't care what anybody says. Those refs didn't know what they're doing. They just got caught with their pants down, and they just said, oh yeah, it's a touchdown, I guess. Or they're on the take, and they had Jaguars plus the 7.5 points. Whatever. They came off a close win to they come off a close loss to the Eagles. I don't like anything they saw. Christian Kirk, the wide receiver's out. They have Brian Thomas Jr. He's a little beat up as well. They still got a nice running back, Tatum and Bigsby and Atini. But, they're going to have to rely on this running game. And the Vikings, they can stop the run pretty well. Their secondary is the one that's not too great. But I can't trust Mac Jones. I don't know what we're getting in Mac Jones. If we're getting last year's Mac Jones, then no thank you. I'm not going to he has no weapons really to throw to, but Ingram and the rookie wide receiver, Thomas Jr. That's not bad, but I can't trust Mac Jones in this. So Sam Darnold and the Vikings just have too many weapons. The secondary, Jaguars defense blows ass. So easy pick for me. Give me Vikings to cover the 7 points. I can't trust Mac Jones whatsoever. I don't care. And their defense is all beat up. So easy for me. Give me Vikings covering the 7 points. And we have the one crappy game here. We have two teams, NFC South, Falcons versus the Saints. Falcons being favored by 3.5 and the over and under being 46. Falcons coming off a win against the Cowboys, and they covered. Cowboys suck, but good win by the Falcons. Saints coming off a disappointing loss to the Panthers. I had Panthers plus 7 points. What can you say about the damn Saints? They're so injured. Even before the injuries, I told you guys multiple times, I did not like them as a team. I don't care that they went 2-0. They were on my fool's goal list, even at 2-0. I do not trust them. Now, their Olave, their best wide receiver, is out for the game. So who the hell they're going to throw to? I don't know. Don't forget, Rashid Shaheed, he's out for the year. Olave's hurt. Terrible. They're probably going to use that tight end they have, Taysom Hill, for a lot of what they're doing, because they have nothing to go look forward to in this. So, they have nobody to throw to. It's like, just, you might as well get the popcorn vendor guy and the hot dog guy and put them out there wide receiver or tight end. That's how depleted they are. They're also very depleted in the cornerback position, and they trade their best one, Lattimore. Lattimore wasn't playing because he was hurt, but he's traded. So morale's not high with the Saints here. And they fired their head coach. I forgot. They fired the head coach. The Saints fired their head coach, Allen, mid-season. The guy was trash anyways, but they fired him. So this team's not looking so great. It's looking very disarray. They still got Alvin Kamara. Yay, Alvin Kamara. You still got Alvin Kamara. The guy has to be a Swift Army plus a bazooka plus this Jesus the Savior just to do everything for this team so they could win a damn game. And Derek Carr, don't get me, the guy ain't worth nothing. I don't care. The guy's average, the best average quarterback there ever was. So the Saints, believe me, they're done. Let's get back to it. Sorry, I'm ranting, guys. Let's get back to it. I don't know how anybody could take the Saints in this game. I don't like the Falcons either. I think they're fool's gold too. They can't sack the quarterback if their life depended on it. But the Saints have very good weapons. I'll pay attention. Drake London, the wide receiver, is questionable for this game. But Mooney is having a great year. Guy came out of nowhere because he looked like trash for the Bears, but he's doing great with the Falcons. Kirk Cousins looking better. He's looking more healthier from that ACL tear. But as we progress in the season, looks like he's getting better and better. And they have B.J. Robinson and Pitts. Pitts is a little beat up too, but I think he's going to play this game. And they have a good interior lineman. But they can't rush the quarterback whatsoever, and they didn't make no trades to get a better defensive end or linebacker to rush the quarterback. Stupid Atlanta Falcons. Good, smart decision there, buddy. You're going to win the division and you don't add more talent so you go farther in the playoffs? No, they don't. So with all that being said, guys, for this game, give me the over 46. Try to get 45, 45 and a half. I like Atlanta winning this game too, covering the 3.5, but I'm not going to take that. I think the Saints their offensive line holds just enough, and the Saints maybe get 2 scores, maybe 3 if they're lucky, but I think Falcons put a lot of points on them too. So give me the over 46 in this awful, boring game, the NFC South. Okay, so with this game, we have the 49ers versus the Buccaneers. San Francisco being favored by 6.5, and the over-under being 50.5. 49ers are coming off a bye, which they really needed. They're really beat up. Just a refresher, the 49ers rank second in the NFL with 412 yards per game, and they're fourth in rushing, so that's really great. That's without CMC, but Mason, and I believe the other running back, Guerrero, whatever you say his name, 2 back. They look great in the time they were playing, so they held their own while CMC was out. But Christian McCaffrey, he is playing this game. So the best running back in the league last year, offensive player of the year, he is finally back in week 10, and he is playing for the 49ers. Now, how much playing time he's going to get, I don't really know, but hey, if you're a San Francisco fan, that's really great to see. Jennings, the wide receiver, he is playing this game as well. He's been cleared. And the kicker, Moody, the kicker who's been out for a few weeks, a really good kicker, he is still questionable, but I see that he's likely to play this game. So, like I said, they need that bye week. They are getting healthier, and I'm pretty sure they want to take over the Arizona for first place in the NFC West. 49ers are 4-8 against the spread, and they're 5-1 in the last 6 games against the NFC South. Let's talk about the Buccaneers. Buccaneers are playing their heart out. Baker Mayfield in that Kansas City game, that guy's putting everything on the line. They got so many injuries to his weapons. No Mike Evans, no Godwin, and the other guy, there's another wide receiver who's questionable, is probably not playing. So he's just throwing to in and his running backs and whoever's out there at wide receiver. So the guy has his wide receivers just all depleted. But he has a really good tight end in Ayin. Ayin looks like Ayin's going to be a top 5 tight end. He's definitely top 10 this year. But I really like him. He's really good. And they're going to have to rely on the running game with White, Tucker, and I forget the other guy, Bruce Irving. So they're going to have to rely on the running game a lot in this game as well. The Buccaneers, Mayfield is, I think the guy has to be tired. The guy is running around playing so much. But he looks amazing. Like I said, Buccaneers are 2-7-1 against the spread in their last 10 games versus NFC West teams. Brock Purdy is one of the, pretty good. This is a good stat for any Buccaneer bettors here. Brock Purdy is one of the worst QBs against the blitz. So that's good because we know Todd Bowles likes to blitz. So he's going to throw a lot of crazy packages at Brock Purdy. So that might come in handy for if you're going to take the Buccaneers in this. Well, I think the Buccaneers, I think they're just tired. They played the Kansas City Chiefs. They took them all the way to overtime and they lost. Baker Mayfield is playing Superman out there, trying to win games for his team. They're depleted at the wide receiver position, and the guy can't do everything, So, and the defense is just average, not really great, not really bad. So with all that being said, I think they're just facing the 49ers at the wrong time. The 49ers are coming off from a bye. They're getting way healthy. Christian McCaffrey is back. Jennings, the wide receiver, is back. So I think they're just meeting the Buccaneers the wrong time. So give me the 49ers covering the 6.5. And I think they even cover this maybe at 7.5, maybe even at 8. But, I think this is an easy win and cover for the 49ers. And with this matchup, we have the battle of the 2 rookie quarterbacks. That is New England versus the Chicago Bears, with Chicago Bears being favored by 6 points and the over and under being 38.5. This is, like I said, the battle of the rookie quarterbacks. But, with the Patriots, they have the worst offense in the league. That was mostly from Brissett. Brissett was a terrible quarterback. Drake May's added some juice for the Patriots, but he's a bit reckless as well. He's turned the ball over a lot. He had over 95 yards rushing, I think, last week. So the guy's trying to do everything he can to get positive yards, points on the board for his team, but they're still losing. They lost to the crappy Tennessee Titans. I had the under in that game, which was great. It hit. But, Tennessee Titans, they have a better defense. So, I can't blame May for trying to do everything he could to take that game into overtime. But, he did. But he's a little reckless, but I like what I see from the kid. They also hold the Patriots at the 25th ranked defense, so that's nothing to be happy about if you're a Patriots fan. They're 3-5-1 against the spread this season, and they're 2-2 against the spread on the road for a total of this whole season as well. So with the Bears, they're coming off an ugly loss to the Arizona Cardinals. The Bears are a mess, people. What is going on with the Chicago Bears? They have DJ Moore during the game against the Cardinals. Caleb Williams is scrambling, and DJ Moore is running with him. They're both running in the same direction, right? And then Caleb Williams is about to get sacked. He turns around to keep the play alive, and he goes back around. DJ Moore just walks off into the stands and sits down on the bench. He just walks off to the sideline, and he sits down. Just gave up on the play while the play was still going. What the fuck is that? If I'm the Chicago Bears, he's not playing next week, or he's not playing for the half. You got to discipline this guy for quitting. The week before that, the Stevenson, the cornerback, is teasing and making fun of the damn fans, and then Washington throws a Hail Mary and they win the game. This team's undisciplined, or or the head coach lost the locker room, or they just don't give a shit. Either way, it's not looking good for the damn Chicago Bears. I don't know who do you trust in this game. You have the mess of the Chicago Bears, or you have the there's no talent at all on the Patriots. So who do you take in this game? Let's talk about Caleb Williams in this 2-game losing streak that the Bears are having right now. In this 2-game losing streak, he's been sacked 9 times and he has 0 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. This offensive line is looking like how it looked in the beginning of the season, where like anybody could sack them. Hell, you could pick Girl Scouts in front of that offensive line and they'll get sacks on the Chicago Bears. It's just unbelievable. So Caleb Williams, at least, is not turning the ball over, but he has 0 touchdowns as well. So he's not looking too good since they're coming off that bye, and now they're on a 2-game losing streak. The Bears are 4-3-1 against the spread this season, and they're 3-0 against the spread at home. I guess at least that's decent, something you can look at. So even though, it's hard to trust this, it's hard to pick in this game. Even though the Bears are a mess, maybe maybe in the behind the scenes they try to hold them accountable, the players who are acting a fool during these games, but I just can't take the Patriots. So maybe the Bears strain these guys out. They're 3-0 against the spread at home, so I really like that, but I just can't take the Patriots. The Bears at least still have a really good defense. They're getting back their safety and corner back for this game. Brisker is one of the guys they're getting back. They need him. So they're getting back him. The Bears are 3-0 at home against the spread, and the Patriots have the worst offense in the league. So with all that, give me the circus that is the Chicago Bears covering the 6 points. All right, in our next matchup, we have Tennessee versus the Chargers, with Chargers being favored by 7 points and the over-under being 39. Tennessee coming off an impressive win against the Patriots. Yeah, right. Patriots are awful. Good, they won. Who cares? Who's starting for this quarterback? Who's starting for this team at quarterback? Who knows? They say it's Will Levis when he's healthy. He's questionable for the game. Or it's Rudolph. Who knows? Keep an eye on that. Who really cares? I do like their running backs. Pollard he's going out there. He's trying. He's pinning some game tape out there for other teams. Maybe he'll get traded or signed with a different team. But he's pinning some good points. They do get Spears, their other running back. He was out for 3 or 4 games. Now he's coming back for that game. He's a good passing catch running back. So, hey, now they got 2 running backs that the Chargers, another weapon added to this team that they desperately need. So then they still have a good defense. They actually have a really good defense. So that's something over Tennessee. And they got Calvin Ridley at wide receiver. They traded Hopkins, obviously, to Kansas City. So Calvin Ridley and Tyler Boyd at wide receiver, they still have some decent weapons on this team. The only thing is they're playing against the Chargers, and Chargers have maybe the best defense in the whole NFL. So there you go. We just basically, this is two defenses going at each other. I don't know how the hell Chargers are at 7-point favorite. I don't really like that. I'm not a Dodgers. I'm not a Chargers fan. I think they're fool's gold. People love Harbaugh. They love sticking their head up his ass. I'm not believing this offense. But it's 7 points. What are you going to do? The Chargers coming off a good win against the Browns. The Browns were, had this hype of coming into that game, and they beat the Browns more than 10 points. And Herbert's looked solid the last 3 games. He's having his best. The last 3 games has been his best games of the season so far. And their 2 wide receivers, Quinn Johnson and McConkey, they've been having back-to-back really good games. I don't think they're good. If you look at the opponents the Chargers have beaten, they're not that good. They lost to the Cardinals too, and the Cardinals I don't think that are that good. So I don't trust the Chargers getting this many points. I think the Tennessee, if they keep with the run and with their good defense, they could keep it close enough to actually cover this number. But all that being said, I think the best play here is the under 39 points. I think this is going to be a 10-20 game, 17-13 kind of game. I don't trust the Chargers enough to cover this big number, and I don't trust the Tennessee Titans to put enough points to cover this as well, for them to cover. But they both have good offenses, and they both have good defenses, and they both have crappy offenses. So I trust their defenses more than anything. So give me the under 39, in which this is going to be a crappy, boring game. And with this matchup, we have the Jets versus the Cardinals. Jets being favored by 1.5, and the over/under being 46.5. Jets are coming off a good win against the Houston Texans. I had the under in that game, which hit, so good for me. The thing you got to ask yourself about the Jets are they over with the mess they have created? Now, the Jets are always the Jets, and they always shoot themselves in the foot. They fired their head coach. They changed offensive coordinator. They bring in Devontae Adams. The first 2 games, he didn't look too good, but the game against the Texans, he looked pretty good. Garrett Wilson looks pretty good as well. I believe he leads the league in receptions. I'm not sure about that, but I'm pretty sure he's number 1, or he's definitely in the top 3. So have they pitted together? They beat the Texans, but before that, they were a mess. They have 3 wins and 6 losses, so they haven't been too good this season. They potentially have one of the best wide receiver duos in the league. They just got to put it together. Maybe they do. Are they going to start clicking? You got to start asking yourself these questions about the Jets if you're going to bet them. Has the offense finally clicked since they just beat the Texans? Or do they still need some games? Or are they just fool's gold and a crappy team? They're coming off a mini bye, which is really good, having more time to prepare. They're 3-6 against the spread this season. They're 1-3 against the spread on the road, so not good if you're a Jets bettor. And the Cardinals, though, are allowing opponents to convert almost 50% on third down attempts, I should say. So they are allowing teams at almost a terrible rate for them to convert on third downs. So not too good. Arizona's coming off a blowout win against the Bears. I mean, it was a great win. Embarrassing for the Bears. The Cardinals are on a 3-game winning streak. They ran for 213 yards against the Bears. Murray actually didn't have to play Superman in that game. He actually was not that great. I think for fantasy-wise, he put up only like 4 points up in fantasy for anybody who had Kyle Murray. But they still won the game. They won 29-9. So a good, decent win by the Arizona Cardinals. Arizona offense has scored a good amount of points in the last 2 games, but they scored 17 or fewer points in the last 4 out of the 5 games before that. So was it just the opponents they're playing, the Cardinals, or are the Cardinals now offensives clicking? To me, they don't got that many weapons. They have Marvin Harrison Jr., and James Conner and McBride, their tight end. It's decent, but it's not that great. I don't like their other wide receiver, the other tight ends. So, and they can't rush after the quarterback. And they have Kyle Murray, who uses his legs a lot too. So it's not a bad defense. It's an average, a better average offense. And one thing they have in their favor, the Jets have failed to score more than 24 points in every game this season. So, we have the Jets coming off a mini bye. We have the Arizona Cardinals, getting a tough but a good win against the Chicago Bears. But I don't trust the Chicago Bears. I don't trust the Arizona Cardinals. To me, they're too inconsistent. They're just too inconsistent for me. You never know where you're going to get out of them. I'm not a believer. I think the 49ers are going to end up winning the NFC West, and Arizona Cardinals are probably going to go to third place because I think the Rams will take second place. So I think the Cardinals are going to drop down to earth in this game. My best bet for this game, I actually like the under 46.5. I do believe that's the number to the best bet to play. But if I was going to choose an opponent in this game, I like the Jets to cover the 1.5. But my play, the best play I believe for this game, is the under 46.5. And now we have a rivalry that I love watching. We have the Philadelphia Eagles, my Philadelphia Eagles, versus the Dallas Cowboys, with Philadelphia being the favorite by 7.5 points and the over-under being 43.5. Philadelphia coming off a win against the Jaguars. They should have blown them out. They were, I think it was like 22-0. They were up multiple scores going to the second half. The refs screwed them with that fake fumble. Was not a fumble. I don't care what anybody says. So the Jaguars took that fumble over to a pick six because half the Philadelphia Eagles players were wondering what the hell was going on. And then some bad, stupid coaching decisions by our head coach. Going for 2-point conversions maybe when he shouldn't have. Going on fourth downs when he shouldn't have, or calling the wrong plays on fourth down. So the guy's just a knucklehead. Hopefully they get rid of him at the end of the season. I don't care if we even win the Super Bowl, get rid of the guy, okay? Other than that, they should have blown out the Jaguars, but a win's a win. A.J. Brown was hurt in that game against the Jaguars. He didn't play the whole second half, but he's been approved to play for this game. He's got to the okay, so he will be playing. The same thing with Smith. Smith was questionable during the week in practice for the Eagles. Smith is now going to play against the Cowboys, so they both have their best two wide receivers ready to play against the Cowboys. But really important, Dallas Goedert is now finally back for the Philadelphia Eagles. He was out 3 games with a hamstring injury, but now he is back with the Eagles. So Eagles are now at full force with their weapons. Their left tackle is still in the IR, but he should be coming off in the next week or two. But they get their weapons all back for Hurts. But Barkley, hell, the guy's killing it, and they're going against one of the worst rush defenses in the league in the Cowboys. So if you want Barkley for anytime touchdown, I would take that if I were you guys. So Barkley's killing it. The only person who beats him in rushing yards is Derrick Henry. Him and Derrick Henry are the best offseason acquisitions in this whole offseason that just passed. So great. I've been glazing the Eagles here as an Eagles fan, so let me just tell you something about a bad thing about the Eagles. They're 4-4 against the spread, and they haven't covered a spread that's 7 points or more the whole season. So they don't like covering. I know this. They didn't cover against the Jaguars when they were 7 and a 7-point favorite. So they didn't cover that. So they haven't covered a spread by a touchdown or more this whole season. The Eagles are 7th against the pass, and they're 5th against the run, and they're only allowing 19.4 points a game. Sorry about that. Cowboys, let's talk about them. Dak Prescott hurt, could be possibly out the whole season. They're not making the playoffs. See you later, Cowgirl fans. You had a bum season even before Dak got hurt. CJ Lamb, he's going to play this game, but he's also beat up, so keep an eye out on that. They have no running game. I believe they have the worst rushing attack in the whole NFL, or it's the second to worst ranked worst rushing attack in the NFL. Cooper Rush will be starting. Whoopity-doo. All he has is CeeDee Lamb to throw to. That's pretty much it. Ferguson at tight end. Do you really want to trust that guy? No. So with all that being said, Dak Prescott's hurt. He is their main guy, one of the best quarterbacks in the league. They really only have CeeDee Lamb. They have no running game. So a lot of defenders are hurt. What's his name? Parsons is questionable for this game. So all that being said, easy pick for me. I know the Eagles cannot cover big numbers, but I don't know how you can take Cooper Rush with his depleted offense with just CeeDee Lamb. Cooper Rush was good before, but they had more reliable weapons to go with the offenses of the years past when Cooper Rush had to start 2 years ago. This is not 2 years ago. They have a crappier running attack, and they only have one offensive weapon they could throw to. So with all that, like I said, easy game for me to pick. Give me the Eagles to cover 7.5, and I hope the Eagles blow them out by 20. That's how much I love this rivalry, and that's how much I'm a big Eagles fan. And for the Sunday night football game, we have the Detroit Lions, the great Detroit Lions, versus the Houston Texans, with Detroit being favored by 3.5 and the over and under being 48.5. Now, Houston's coming off a loss against the Jets, a terrible loss. They barely put up, I don't know if they even put 2 touchdowns up. CJ Stroud was sacked 8 times in that game. 8 times against the Jets. So his offensive line is not holding up, and they spent some money on this offensive line to hold up and stay great for CJ Stroud for his development. Of course, Diggs is out for the year, but big news, they got Nico Collins back. Nico Collins was killing it when he's their best wide receiver on the team. The guy was killing it before he got hurt. He was leading the whole league in receiving yards, and they get him back. Big for the Texans, because losing Diggs, they had nobody really to throw to. They have Mixon running back. He was killing it, but getting Nico Collins back is big for the Houston Texans. On the defensive side, Will Anderson is battling an ankle injury, so he's questionable, but I think he's going to tough it out. He's going to play. Let's talk about the Lions. They came off a great win against the Packers in Lambeau when the weather was bad. Usually that's Jared Goff's bad sign when Jared Goff plays in a dome. When he plays outside a dome and the outside in the elements, he usually does terrible, especially in Lambeau, but he beats the Packers 24-14. Packers, they look awful. They looked awful in that game. They're arguably the best team in the NFL. They arguably are. I think they can hang with any team. The Ravens, Kansas City, I think they could actually beat Kansas City straight up right now, because Kansas City's been, struggling a little bit to win games. They get Jameson back, their wide receiver, their big burner. He was suspended 2 games for, I believe, some kind of drug or steroid he was taking. He was suspended 2 games. They get him back, just adds more to this offense. And the Lions actually traded for Zadarius Smith. They lost Hutchinson, their best defender, and they trade for Zadarius Smith. Good. Smart move. Teams that are going for it, trade for him. Now, Zadarius Smith is questionable this game because it's personal. So he might not play this game. So keep that in mind. It is questionable. But great for Detroit in the future. They know they can't get off the quarterback. In the last 2 games, they've only sacked the quarterback once. That is not good. That's not sustainable when you get in the playoffs. So going against Darius Smith is good. He has 5.5 sacks, I believe, and that's almost double any other person who's other defender. So really great decision by them. So a little more details for you. The Lions have covered 4 out of the last 5 games as road favorites. The Lions have won their last 3 games against teams with a winning record. So it looks like the Lions are a shoo-in to cover this game, right? Well, I'm taking the Texans plus 3.5. I think this is a good time to buy when the stock is low and everybody's just going to be betting the Lions like crazy. The public's going to be on the Lions like nobody's business. Now, they cover a lot of games. They do. They put up a lot of points. But I think this is a great time to buy Texans Scott. They got Nico Collins back, okay? And I think Nico Collins can make some damage on this team. I actually like the over as well if you want to take that. But I think this is the best time to buy the Texans stock. The Lions are a terrible team getting after the quarterback since Hutchinson's been hurt, and Zadarius Smith may not play this game. So I like Texans plus 3.5. If it goes any higher, take it. I think the Texans put up a good enough fight. I don't know if they win the game, but I think they put up a good enough fight, and they put enough points to get this number covered. So give me the Texans plus 3.5. So guys, those are my predictions for every game in week 10. Now let's go over my best bets. I like these games more than I like week 9's best bets. I was on a big heater going to week 9, 11-2. My best bets had not come through. Now I'm 11-5 for the last 5 weeks. So with all that being said, I really like these games. I like them more than last week. Let's get back on track. Let's make some money. Hopefully I make money because I personally bet these best bets. So let's get to it. Here are my best bets for week 10. And my first best bet is San Francisco covering the 6 points. I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are just meeting the San Francisco 49ers at the wrong time. The 49ers are coming off a bye. Christian McCaffrey is now going to play this game. Does he get a lot of carries? Who knows? But they still have Mason and Guerrero, the other running backs, who are doing great. They're the 4th best rushing team, so they didn't really need CMC. But getting him is like getting a great addition free agent or a trade in the mid-season. So getting him is really great. Deebo Samuels has got more time to be more healthy, and now they have Jennings, other wide receiver. He missed 2 games. Now he will play in this game, so he'll be starting the opposite side of him. So, and the Tampa Buccaneers are coming off a tough overtime loss on Monday Night Football, so he has less rest, and he's coming in to play the 49ers in San Francisco. So just bad timing for the Buccaneers, good timing for us and the 49ers. So give me San Francisco to cover the number 6 points. And in my second best bet, let's keep it simple. The Jaguars lose their starting quarterback, Trevor Lawrence. He's not playing in this game, and Mac Jones is starting. What Mac Jones are we going to get? I don't know. We don't know if he's good in the system, but he was not really great at the Patriots, and the Patriots traded him out to the Jaguars. So who knows what Mac Jones we're going to get? I have no clue, but I'm not trusting it. The Vikings have now their full offense is fully healthy now. TJ Hawkinson is back at tight end. He was a top 5 tight end before he got hurt. They have Justin Jefferson, arguably the best wide receiver, Addison, and they have Jones at running back, who's been a great addition for that team. So the Jaguars, they don't have their starting quarterback. They have Mac Jones. Mac Jones, I think it'll be a hard time for him to get to his weapons, and Ingram and the rookie wide receiver. I think they're going to rely on the running game. The Vikings are actually not too bad against the run, but their defense is a mess too, the Jaguars. So I think Sam Darnold will pick them apart. So keep it simple. The starting quarterback for the Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence, has been having actually a good, decent year. He's out for the game. Here comes the backup quarterback. Give me Vikings covering the 7 points. And for my third best bet, let's keep it simple again. Dak Prescott is hurt for the Dallas Cowboys. Dak is the top 10 quarterback in this league. Now he's gone. Cooper Rush, the backup, is coming in. Cooper Rush started 2 years ago, but back then the Cowboys had a better offense. They have no run game, the Cowboys, and other than CeeDee Lamb, there's nobody really to throw to on that offense. So, and there's a lot of guys beat up on that defense. So I like the Eagles to cover the 7.5. They're rolling. Both their wide receivers are healthy. They're going to play this game. A.J. Brown's knee injury was not that serious. He'll be playing this game. And they get their starting tight end, Dallas Goedert, back. He was out for 3 weeks, and now he's back. And Barkley is rolling. He's doing great. And they get their starting right guard back, the Eagles, as well. So this team is almost fully healthy, the Philadelphia Eagles, against a team that is not fully healthy, and their best player, their quarterback, is now not playing the game. So give me the Eagles in this rivalry game, and I hope they pound the Cowgirls into the dust. So give me the Eagles covering the 7.5. So guys, I want to give you some honorable mention games as well. These games where I was thinking of making my best bets, but they just didn't make it, but I really like them. And I'll probably will bet them. I'll just have to watch the lines and see where the number goes. But with that, let me give my honorable mention games. I like the under in the Tennessee and Chargers game. Right now it's at 39. Maybe if you could get it at 40, definitely take it. I can't see these teams putting up more than 20 points each. So take the under 39. I like that. And I also like the Giants to cover the 6.5. As I said previously, I took the Giants immediately at 4.5. That would have been one of my best bets if the number is still 4.5 for you guys. But it's no longer. It's now 6.5. But I do still like them at 6.5. I think if the Giants stick to the run game and Tracy and Singletary, and they use Daniel Jones' leg and the play action to Neighbors and Shepard and Robinson, they could beat the Panthers and beat them by more than one touchdown against that terrible defense. And I actually think the front seven of the Giants could sack Bryce Young as well. So give me the Giants covering the 6.5. Bit of a big number, I know, because the Giants are not a good team, but I think for this game they can actually cover that 6.5. I also like the Jets and Arizona to go under the 46.5. I'm a little more shaky on that. I think it's going to be a close, tight game. I think this game is going to be like 23-17 or 24-17, around there. But I like the under as one of my best, as an honorable mention, not a best bet. So guys, those are my predictions and best bets and some honorable mentions for week 10. I like week 10 more than I like week 9. I still went over 500 in all my games I picked in week 9. My best bets didn't do too hot, but that's last week. This is this week. Let's make some money. I hope you guys tailed me. I'm still 11-5. I was 11-2 the last 5 weeks. Now I'm at 11-5, but I'm still a good winning record. I'm 500 in all my predictions the last 5 weeks. Each week in a row I chose, I'm above 500. So guys, if you tell me, I hope you win some money. I hope we win some money on this game. Tell me who you like. Leave it in the comment section. I can't wait. I can't wait to hear it. Any information you give, I can't wait to take it. Comment, like, subscribe. It's a small channel. Costs you guys nothing. So with all that being said, let's make this a profitable week for us, guys. And I will always see you in the next one.